Okay, let's start the webinar. So thank everybody for joining. So today we will talk about blockchain and time writing as part of a of a complete cloud ERP setup. This webinar today will be hosted by Akshay Bairagi and by me, Gert-Jan de Weeme. We will guide you through a couple of slides, and then we will move on to the demonstration. The whole setup is organized out of Cloudteam in collaboration with Boris.Guru, our blockchain specialist partner, and FinancialForce as the supplier of the platform. We go down. So I will do a short introduction, then I will go over what is Cloud ERP based on Salesforce FinancialForce, just as a small background. And then I will discuss a bit about the concept of how to use blockchain for time writing, and then in, let's say, conjunction with how to then send invoices to clients. And like I said, we will end with a demo, how it can work in practice, and we have some time reserved for questions and answers. Maybe to start with FinancialForce, for who is not familiar with FinancialForce, FinancialForce is the biggest ISV partner for Salesforce. They have created and built a complete ERP solution on the platform. It was launched in 2009, serving over 1,000 customers now globally, headquartered in San Francisco and with a big office and development center in the UK. Like I said, it's natively built on the Salesforce platform. And it is the true, let's say, cloud ERP solution on the platform. With 600 plus employees now, it's, like I said, the biggest ISV partner for Salesforce. Now, who then is Cloudteam? We founded ourselves in 2014, now grown over 23 experts. Our mission from the start was to be the true specialist in implementing FinancialForce. So we've done so far, and we are now recognized as the #1 partner for FinancialForce in Europe. Now we have 2 development centers, one in Belarus and one in India, and we have our financial services center in Pakistan. And for our clients in Europe, we actually implemented around the globe already. Now our services comprises from the cloud ERP strategy and digital transformations down to the actual implementation of the modules of FinancialForce and Salesforce. And because of our development capacity, we do app development, so creating enhancements along the way. Short insights in our team of experts. We're pretty proud to have 9 nationalities working in our company based out of the Netherlands, which gives us a very, let's say, enthusiastic and special character in the company. Now, with this team of experts, we have implemented the full range of cloud ERP, from, let's say, the CRM part down to Billing Central and supply chain management. Along the way, we have developed more than 8 very mature apps, like bank integration, a payable invoice scan app, a time off management app, and an expense management app. Just as an example of the enhancement that we created to make sure that, especially in Europe, the localization is done in a way that it's truly working end to end. Now, Cloud ERP, for who's not familiar with ERP as such, it is the true range going, let's say, from finance management to billing, to your professional service automation, to your supply chain management, your quoting and ordering, back to your customer relationship management, and all on the Salesforce #1 platform. So in essence, it is giving you your 360 view on your customer, as for many years has been the desire of clients. We can say out of this platform it's truly possible. And because of the 360 view, you will see now, as we will demonstrate with the blockchain integration, and that there are so many more enhancements possible to even further optimize and automate your complete setup. So if we talk about the blockchain time writing, so to say, it's for us it's part of the professional services automation module, which is one of the modules out of the cloud ERP stack. And you could see it like this, just to give it as a small overview. So if we position a client, if we position in between a consultancy company and you have or potentially have an agency which you will also use as the consultancy firm to deliver the services to the client. Now, by doing so, we added now the blockchain smart contract to be sure that everything which is recorded in time writing will also then be recorded in the blockchain as a complete proof of what happened and who wrote the time and who approved the time eventually. So the time writing is then done in the PSA module within the cloud ERP setup. The time writing is then recorded in the blockchain as a proof. Out of these hours which are then recorded, it will be sent to the client for approval. And after the client approves, this is also then recorded in the blockchain. Now, based on, let's say, then the full recording in the blockchain, once the consultancy firm is going to send the invoice to the client, it will hold a link to the blockchain. So in any case, the client wants to validate that indeed the invoice is matching the hours that he previously approved. He can do so by simply going to the blockchain and looking at the stamps that were made in the smart contract. Now the same is then also applicable for an agency. So in that case that you actually used as a consultancy company, that you used an agency to deliver one or more consultants to work on your behalf for your client, the same principle accounts. That means that if a reverse billing is then sent out to the agency, they can then also check if indeed the hours, the total hours are matching the hours that are reverse billed to them, and which are then also based on the invoice that was initially sent out to the client. Now, in, let's say, the overall and most ideal setup, that also means that the blockchain itself is integrated into the, let's say, finance system of the client, as well as to the finance system of the agency. And that would mean that the consultant, let's say the consultant in this case from an agency, should only then write time once in the consultancy company PSA module, and those hours will then automatically via the blockchain be infused in the system of the agency, as well as it will be infused in the system of the client. So this is more or less the principle and the concept around time writing and how to use and how you can use blockchain as a further proof and validation. So now going to let's say a short demo, then we will try to make it more explicit, and hopefully it will give you the proper insights. Okay, so I will now stop my share and I will hand it over to Akshay. So Akshay, welcome.
Thank you, Jan. So everybody can see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So good morning, everyone. So I am Akshay Bairagi, and I'm a Salesforce developer, certified PD2 Salesforce developer working for Cloudteam company since last 1 year. And I have a total 6 years of experience in developing apps on force.com platform. So basically, I'm going to present our solution, time writing solution using blockchain. So here in our solution, we have two components. We've used PSA, professional service automation, as a time writing solution. So it is a native Salesforce app by FinancialForce. So anybody who is already using PSA can readily use this, and anybody who's already adapted Salesforce, it's a great advantage to them. And then the other component is a time oracle system, which basically a node.js system which interacts with the blockchain to store all the data, like reporting hours or the approvals by the client or customer on the smart contract. So what actually our solution will work is like consultants can directly fill their timesheets on the PSA, the time screen, and our system on the back end will interact with the time oracle system, and everything will be stored on the smart contract, which at any point of time customer can go, or any entity which is involved in the contracting business, like any consultancy or intermediary, can go and access the blockchain to verify the source of truth. So basically, how we establish the source of truth is we use a digital signature. So whenever consultant go and write his time, he uses a digital signature to submit his hours. And whenever a customer approves any timesheet or hours, he uses his own signature to approve it. So there is a trust established between all the entities involved. So without going into more details, I will start my demo. So this is the screen, normal screen that you see on the PSA. And so for those who are not familiar with PSA, they can refer back to our website. We already have the PSA demos, and you can go into the details for that. But I'll just start with the time entry screen. Before going into the time entry screen, I'll show you how to set up all the projects. So you have a project PSA tab here. So this is the basically project that you're going to set up. So I've already opened one project for you. So your project will look like this. It will have all the information about the project name, which account it links to, and all the other information like billing type and everything. So you can go and from the PSA tab, you can click on that. You can create your new project, and you can do all kind of stuff, but I've already prepared a project for this demo. And then after setting your project, then on your project, you can have multiple resources working on that project. So you can add the resources on your project by just creating a contact or raising a resource request from here. So then the resource request will actually be a contact inside your Salesforce. So I already added a contact in that. So I have a resource with the name Akshay Bairagi, which is myself, and this will look up to our project, and it can have all the information like Cloudteam, everything, and what is the cost rate. And then for your project, for multiple resources, you're going to create an assignments because you want to track the individual assignments of the resources working on that. So I have created one assignment for myself. So for this project, I have an assignment to track the work that I am doing against this project. So the assignment will look like this. It will have the information related to me only. It will refer to the project. It will refer to my resource and all the other information which we normally store in PSA for the project. So the main thing is like when you set up a resource, so you have to take care of the thing that we are using digital signature here, which will be used to interact with the smart contract. So at whether it is your project manager or project management office, they will do this setup, and first time they will edit this information and they will pull out a public key, which is a MetaMask address, which is actually used from this system. So you can go into the MetaMask, it's a Chrome extension, and pull out the public key and just fill it out. So this is the identifier which actually creates a digital signature for you and then interacts with the smart contract. So so anybody who doesn't process this public key can't access the smart contract. So this is basically a validation that only the authenticated person can interact with the smart contract. And when you fill out all the information and you save it, you will get a smart contract ID, which is your representation of resource in the smart contract itself. And then on the project itself, there is a field which you can populate, which is a client or external approver. So he will be the end customer who will be actually initiating the process of approval, and then the process goes on. Your manager verifies the invoices and time cards and everything. And this is also an external contact. So here you also will do the same thing. You will create a contact with the name, with the email, with the MetaMask address, and the smart contact ID. So Now you have everything set up. So you got your project, you got your assignment, you got the resource who is working on this project, you got the approver or the customer who is going to approve the timesheet for the resource who has worked on the project. So this is the basically part of setting up your PSA, which you can go into detail with our other demo recordings that we have in our website. So now I will just jump to time writing part. So you'll go to your home page and you'll click on the time entry link. So I'll just add one more project here. So these are the projects which are assigned to me. So I can see only the list of projects that are available for me. Then I can add the task to it. I can fill out my hours. Then I can write the notes, what I did. So I just did demo stuff on this day. And when I click on submit, so behind the screen, what will happen is this, a time card will be created, and this time card will be using a digital signature. So it will, the time card will look which resource has submitted the time card, and then he will use his MetaMask address to fetch a digital signature, and it will use the MetaMask digital signature, and then it will send out the information to the smart contract that this time card has been submitted with this digital signature of Akshay Bairagi resource. So you have now a logged time card in the smart contract. So when you go, so if you see, this is the time card, and scroll down, you will have a MetaMask signature here, which has been like individual to each resource. And then you have the smart contract ID, which you can verify in your smart contract that this is the time card that I've submitted. And when you submit this time card, so the approvals kicks in. So the first stage of approval will be your internal manager. So your internal manager will verify whether the timesheet you have submitted is correct or not, and then only it will go to the customer, so that you can avoid the unnecessary hiccups and all kind of errors. So, and the internal manager will, so the internal manager on the project is Akshay Bairagi. And if I go to the Akshay Bairagi, so this is myself. So I should have received an email for the approval. So I will go to my email, and yes, so I received this approval. So one thing to note here, that this approval which internal manager is doing is dependent on a Salesforce user. So your internal manager should be a Salesforce user, and it has a Salesforce license link to it. So it has a cost link to it. So when you click on the link, you can just see all the details, what total hours and everything for UBL project. This is the time card. Approver is myself for this project, and it is assigned to me. And the submitter is Akshay Bairagi, who was the resource. So I will just go and I will approve. Okay, so when this time card is approved, so our status here is now only internally approved, and you can see that this is not actually approved and not included in financials. So you cannot generate the invoice at this point of time because the customer has not approved it. So I'll see that who is my customer for this project. So I've already configured that. So the customer is demo customer external approver, and his email is democustomerapproval@gmail.com. So I will go to this address. So this is the same address for the external approver that we have configured. But here, the important thing to notice that here, this approval, you doesn't need to have a Salesforce user for your external customer. So, we have provided a mechanism for you to actually approve your time card, or customer can approve the time card without actually logging into the system. So it saves you a extra cost of license or purchasing cost of procuring a Salesforce license for just providing approval process. So here, if you want to give, like if you are on your system and if you want to have a screen to look into all the details, you can have the screen. So you can verify all the information that is there and you can approve and reject. But there's a better thing to do here. If you are working with a mobile phone or a tablet and you don't want interaction with the browser, then you can just click on the two big buttons here, approve or reject. You already have all the information, basic information about the time card. So you click on approve, and the mail will automated mail will be created for you. You don't have to do anything. You just click on send. So when you click on send, so this actually kicks in the whole process, because now the end customer has approved the system or time card. So if I go back to my time card and if I where is my time card? Okay, so I'll go here. So this is an assignment for us. Yeah, so this is the old time cards. I have to go to new time cards. Okay, we can do one thing. We can directly, yeah, so this was our time card. Sorry, it was on the different tab. So you can see the status was internally approved. So it was only approved by internal manager. But now when I refresh it, so if you see now the status has changed to approver, and all the other checkboxes to which indicates PSA system that whether to generate invoice or not. So those are checked, like it is approved, it is included in financials, and the field that who has approved it. So you can see that it is externally approved by demo customer, and also you can verify the same information from approval history. So first it was submitted, then it was approved by internal manager, and then it was approved by the second external manager, which is the indication for PSA that we can start the billing. So now the customer, or sorry, the consultancy can go back to his project and he can generate the invoices and start sending the invoices. So this whole process completes. And then if you want to, in future, if you want to see whether the approved hours and submitted hours, the validity of that, so you can log in into a blockchain system, you can go there. So basically this is all encrypted, so it is not so user friendly, but you have a smart contract ID at your time cards which you can use to verify. So okay, yeah, so basically when you go and you can see the blocks. So basically, this is our blockchain system where everything is stored as blocks and everything is hashed. So we can see them in a hash string, but any customer can go and verify using the smart contract ID that is stored in PSA.
Okay, thank you very much, Akshay. I think, and hopefully it shows how now, let's say, a full cloud ERP system, including the PSA module, is then used for project management, writing time by consultants which are assigned to the project, and how those hours will then first be internally be approved, then go to an external approval, towards the client. All those recordings are then stored in the smart contract in the blockchain as well. So eventually, by sending out then the invoice to the client, it will contain a link to the blockchain on which they can always validate if everything is indeed correct. And in the blockchain itself, it will contain the information about who actually approved by when, on what type of hours, in which week, and also the project number. So everything is nicely, let's say, pulled together. And then from the PSA module, the project module, with one click you can generate this invoice. So if we talk about, let's say, the easiness of a full integration of your processes, your business processes, we think this will give you a nice addition in case you really want to have everything validated. So for us, this was, let's say, the ending of the short demo. I'm not sure if there's any questions from the people that actually joined the webinar. Automatically, you are on mute. So if you have a question, please unmute yourself, and we are happy to answer your questions. No, in case there are no questions, we have recorded this webinar. We will send it around, and I would like to thank you, everybody, for joining this webinar, and hopefully see you for the next webinar. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.